Welcome to Friday with Friends. Welcome back. It is a new year. Fridays with Friends is our opportunity to talk about what's going on in the market, answer any questions you might have, so that we would love the opportunity to be your realtor of choice.
Yes, welcome to 2021, Mandy. Here we are.
Guys, it's exciting.
It is very exciting. So yes, it is a new year, and so we are here to help you reach all of your real estate and financial goals. And so we are talking, and the title of today's episode is New Year, New Home, Sellers Edition.
Yeah, normally when we do New Year's New Home, now fun fact, our very first Fridays with Friends was New Year, New Home, and that was back 3 years ago, 2018.
Yes, 2018. We've come a long way.
We've come a long way.
80 plus episodes. Yeah. So we are so excited to be here with you guys today to chat about if you're thinking of selling your home this year, in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, what you should start doing today so that you're prepared for that big financial decision.
So if you are watching this live, hashtag live, say hi to us. If you're watching this later, hashtag replay. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If there's specific questions you have, we can reach out and set up a time to chat. We would love the opportunity to connect and help however we can. That's what this is all about.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so should we get into it?
Yes.
All right. So if you're thinking of selling your home in 2021, the first thing that you should do is connect with us. Connect with your realtor. That is always such a great place to start, because really your agent is going to be able to help create your game plan moving forward, whether you need to connect with a loan officer or whoever you need to connect with. The agent's really going to be your main point of contact. And that's why we always say, and you'll hear us say throughout this whole episode, it's never too early to start. So definitely reach out to us or your agent to get the ball rolling.
And we have an entire episode on how to interview your real estate agent. So we have that episode, and what we did is we created a nice little PDF downloadable for you. There's a link in the comments right now. If you want to click that, it gives you reference to that, but it's also going to be a snippet. If you're like, I can't stay on this for as long as this episode goes, that's fine. Click that, download that. You're going to get all the information that we're going to talk about today. So that link is in the comments.
Perfect. So in this new world that we're in of 2020, 2021, we are meeting with people in about a zillion different ways. We are safely meeting with people in person at their house. We're also doing Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, however we can meet with you, and whatever avenue makes you feel comfortable, we can do that to really start making a game plan. So in this meeting, what we like to do is really discuss your goals, your timeline, your game plan. Then we'll even get into specifics in regards to pricing and marketing strategies for your home, to-do list. We cover it all, and we'll get into more specifics today, but we will discuss all of that and create a game plan during that first meeting.
Yeah, so when we're saying, contact your realtor, it doesn't have to be this big formal meeting where we're like, now we're meeting. It might just be hey, I'm thinking about listing my house at some point this year. What should I do?
Exactly.
So it doesn't have to be this big thing, and that's where the sellers find the most success, is when they feel so educated and they're not like, oh, I'm not waiting to call. Feel free to reach out. That is the number one first step.
Yep. I actually just met with someone yesterday who's set to put their house on the market in about March timeframe of this year. And we had met originally like a year ago, and her house is ready to go.
Yeah.
She tackled the to-do list. It's empty, it's clean, it's ready. And I said to her, we always tell people start early, and you did just that. And now she's not overwhelmed in the next 2 months. She's ready to go. So that is something that we see all the time. The sellers that start the earliest and communicate with us, it always just creates less stress and makes the process much smoother for them.
Yes. And so the number two step is, and the reason why we want you to connect with your realtor right away, is because you need to be educated on the market. So the second step is really get to know the market, not just in general, but the market for your specific home. And so that's what Abby kind of talks about at the listing appointments, is to be able to kind of go through and to talk more about everything we have. We had some stats, and the stats that we pulled from...
she loves her stats.
I love my stats. But when we compare 2019 to 2020, and we're looking at what happened last year, the most interesting thing that we saw was that the second half of the year was insane. At the end of the year, there were 6% less sales in Monroe County. So 6%, that's a big deal. It was over 500 homes that we were down in sales that we were down. But at the end of last quarter, or at the second half of last year, there were more sales in the second half of last year than there were in a second half of every year in the previous decade.
Wow.
So the second half was so strong and so amazing, and we're still feeling that right now. This isn't a wait to list your house until spring. We're not having that conversation with people. We're saying it is still so hot because everything just got pushed back. The pent-up buyer demand is still there. The end of last year was so strong.
Yep, definitely. And we're also seeing a few more stats that in the last 6 months, sale prices were up 102 or 102.2%.
Well, list price to sale price ratio.
List price to sale price, yep.
102. So that means on average everything was going over asking price by 2%.
Yep.
Which
2.2.
is 2.2%. So that is incredible.
Yep.
That's the second half of the year.
Yep. And then comparing that stat to 2019, where the list to sale price was 99.9%. And you might think, holy moly, 99.9, that's even great. And you're right. At this time last year, that was amazing to be close to that 100%. But if you think about, that's a difference in about 2%. It might not seem like a lot, but when you're talking about hundreds and, $200,000, $300,000 homes, that makes a really big impact.
Yes, it does. So when we talk about market, those are the general stats, but that's when you're meeting with your realtor, what's happening in my neighborhood? What's happening in my price point? What's happening in my style house? To really know, are our properties going quick? Will we do delayed negotiations? What kind of strategies are you going to be, what do you need to work with or you might face? Also, what is it going to take to get your house sold in terms of, prep, which we'll get into more, but educate on the market. That's the second step.
So important. So, and you know why else I find educating is really important is to give you guys a clear picture, give the sellers a clear picture of the market and what they're going into.
Yes.
We like to manage expectations and educate to be ultra clear around if you put your house on the market, we price it right, we market it well, the photos are professional, all of that good stuff. This is what we're seeing happens. And we like to really be able to educate our clients on that so they know, okay, if I list my house, what should I expect?
Yes.
Definitely. So number 3 is discuss the market analysis and our seller's net sheet. So this is kind of 2 different sides. So one of the most important things that we're going to review during this meeting is the market analysis. So I and our other agents come prepared to the meeting with a market analysis, which basically is going to be an evaluation of the comparable sales in the market. So we're going to look at properties that are similar to yours, square footage, style, layout, and of course the location to really evaluate what is the market, what is the stats, and what is the true market value of your home.
Because so often we have Zillow and we have all our assessed value and we have all these reasons. And when we talk about it, what was the stat? Oh, the stat that I don't think we shared yet is the sales price. The average sale price went up by 17% from 2019 to 2020. So your average sale price, I think in Monroe County, went from like 140 to 170 over the course of the year.
Crazy.
So when we talk about what your house is worth, like you need to be making sure that you're getting this updated real time and also neighborhood specific. The luxury market was impacted differently than the first time home buyer market. So why these numbers are so important is because they can change so quickly, and they literally change by the month for us sometimes, where we're like, listen, we're seeing really hot inventory right now, and other times it slows down a little bit week by week. So that's why that seller's net sheet and that value and that comparable market analysis is so key. Abby actually just had a situation where there was a house that we priced based off a pending sale because that sale hadn't closed yet. It takes 60 days. And because we know the market so well, we know what the house is sold for even before it sells or even before it closes. Right. And we were actually ahead of the bank. She was like, this will be coming in a week. This comparable sale will be coming in a week. So having someone who's really in tune to make sure that market analysis is strong.
Definitely. And we'll redo the market analysis throughout the process as well. A lot of times we'll start with the market analysis, and then let's say you put your house on the market, even if it's as little as next week, we're going to redo it to make sure it's as accurate as possible. But we'll start with the preliminary market analysis, and then to get into what the seller's net sheet is, this is one of our clients' favorite documents. Basically, it's a Google Doc or an Excel doc that we've put together that is all data linked and everything like that. So what we can do is put the sale price in at the top.
Yes.
With the typical fees associated with selling, all in there for you with your mortgage payout. And then this is what we'd walk away with. And so then it pops out the number. So if you are planning for a new home, retirement, other purchases, whatever it might be, and you want to really get an idea of what would I walk away with if I sell for this price, we'll be able to help identify that. And of course they are averages, but it really gives us a great place to start.
Yes. And it's important that you're equipped with that information when you go into the market. If you are even considering listing your house, this is something that we do. Some people say, I'm trying to decide if I want to put an addition on my house versus if I want to buy a new house. And when we go through this process to do the comparable market analysis along with the seller's net sheet, that's going to help you determine that. So it's not necessarily contacting us to say, I definitely want to sell. This is the process we go through to really make sure it's a good idea.
Yep, and then you can explore, look at the numbers, review them with, your financial advisor, whatever it might be, and say, yep, this is a good game plan, or no, it's better that we stay where we're at. And we're going to be the first ones to help educate and guide you through that process, for sure.
Yes. Okay. So that was number 3.
All right, hit us with number 4.
Number 4 is review your timeline based on the market. Review your timeline based on your needs. So there's situations that we're working with sellers and they need to move out of state ASAP. They need to move to another town as soon as possible, whether it be school, whether it be employment, whether it be any sort of relocation or a family member. It's not always a one size fits all. You should list your house here and this is how we should do it. It's important when you're talking and when you're really thinking about is, why is this move important to me? Why is selling my house important to me? So that we can create it based on your needs, but then we can also say, based on how much you know about the market and how educated you are on the market, let's find a way to make it so that meshes.
Yeah, and that's such a great point, because a lot of times people will say, okay, well, I want to move by March, so what does that mean for my timeline? When do I need to put my house on the market? And the good thing is that there's an unlimited different options that we can choose from when it comes to closing, rent back, early possession, post possession, quick close, slow close, things like that. So we can really make a game plan to see what would be best for you and your family and your situation, because there's a bunch of different ways that we could maybe take advantage of a stronger market, do a longer closing, vice versa. So it's really important to look through all of those options, which you might not even think about, and that's where we can kind of come in with some of those creative options.
You may be buying a house and you're coordinating how does that work on the purchase. Next week, not next week, our next episode that we're going to be doing is going to be New Year, New Home Buyer Edition.
Did you see? I see it coming.
Did you know? No. So the next one is going to be where we're talking about how to prepare yourself if you want to be buying. If you want to get a sneak peek of that episode, or if you want us to talk about it beforehand and you don't want to wait a couple weeks, feel free to let us know. But we do have that coming down the pipe for you, because there's so much, there's timeline pieces where it's pre-possession, post-possession. Maybe you're in a lease right now, and how do you get out of that lease, and how do you timeline and sublet and all of those things. So those are the important things to start thinking about. What are the key timelines for you in this move so that you're best prepared for your new home?
Perfect. Yep. So that's going to be number 4. Really review that timeline, and let's make a tentative game plan so that you have something to work for. We just met with someone that said, okay, I'd love to put my house on the market or be out of the house by this day. And then we were able to kind of work backwards and say, okay, our goal now is February 1st. And let's all work towards that goal. And if you have to move it, we'll adjust and make sure that it works best for you. But then at least you have a goal to kind of work towards.
And again, because you're educated on the market, we are able to talk about what the average day on market is for a property like yours. So that then we can determine and backtrack that way. So that's why we have that educate yourself on the market early on, because that's all of the pieces come together.
All the pieces of the puzzle. Okay. Perfect. So number 4 was timeline. Number 5 is start prepping your home. So after we meet, what our agents and what I do is put together a to-do list for you. Now, as the market has changed throughout the years, our to-do lists have changed. A lot of people come to us with a big laundry list of things that they should do, and we're able to really prioritize that for you. So we'll walk through the home and say, okay, I think we should touch up, paint this room. I think we should replace this door, remove this carpet, restage this room, and we'll create a full to-do list for you so you can get the ball rolling. And again, all of this is going to be specific to your home, your neighborhood, your market.
And it's funny because sometimes we'll meet with clients and they're like, here's the millions of things I have to do. I have the list, I have all of that. And we'll be able to pare it down and say, I know you think that's important, but we know buyers in this market, and we know they actually will not care about that. They're going to care about these. So we'll be able to tell you what's worth spending the time, energy, and money on versus what's not. And then we'll have some people who are saying, I have no idea or even where to start. Can you just make the list for me? So it's that balancing act. And then we have some people who say, listen, I've run the seller's net. Remember how we talked about that? You see how it's self-filtering? I've run the seller's net, and financially we can't afford to do anything. And then we can start to say, okay, here's the way that we can figure out how to price your home accordingly, or maybe how we can get smarter and think outside the box. And, instead of subway tile, we can put some stickers, like we can make things look beautiful, and we can make sure we're working within your budget and within your needs too. So preparing your home is a big step, and it requires some really strong communication, and that's what we pride ourselves in. So
for sure. And what we'll also do in this market is we find that decluttering, you guys know it's my favorite word, decluttering, deep clean, staging, move-in ready is our goal. And in this market, since there's not a lot of competition for our sellers, we don't need to redo the kitchen or redo the bath or really do anything large. So we're going to make sure that to-do list is the best for you to get top dollar for your home, but also make sure we're getting return on investment for that as well. So we'll go through all of that, and then we'll really just start chipping away at that to-do list. And really, that's prepping your home.
Yes, and remember, if you are just tuning in now, hi to everyone. Hi, Brooks. So if you are just tuning in now, make sure that you know that there is a link in the comments that has everything that we are talking about today. So if you want to click that link and follow along with us, or if you want to click that, if you can't even follow along and you just want to have that, feel free to do that. It's a nice, easy, simple way. We know that a lot of our listeners sometimes like to see something in front of them, so that's why we started to create that for you.
Perfect.
Number 6.
Perfect. So number 5 was prep your home. Number 6 is photograph.
Yes, and we're passionate about our photography.
We are.
Gone are the days where the first showing is someone walking into their house. The first showing is online, and they're either going to go click, 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 next, don't want to see it anymore, or click, 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 contact my realtor, or I want to set up a showing on that house. So professional photography is key. And what's interesting is this time of year, you may agree, but your house doesn't look the best over the course of the entire year. January is not like, that's the time I want to photograph my house.
Here, a little muddy.
But we can be, thanks, Shelby. So that's where we can be smart about how are we catching up with or how are we capturing your home in the best way possible this time of year. It could be we can add some greenery, we could add a blue sky, we never want to mislead in any way, but we have a professional photographer that can really make sure we're highlighting your home in the best way possible for our buyers.
Perfect. And buyers are they're visual. And so if they are looking at a room, maybe your living room, and you have a lot of clutter or a lot of personal items in the corner, they're going to be like, what is in that box over there? And they're not going to look at your fireplace, your hardwood floors, your vaulted ceilings, or whatever it might be. So we want to really highlight the home, and that's where the to-do list and our staging tips are going to go such a long way, because it's so important that buyers are focusing on the house, and we don't want them to get distracted by the little things in the corner. And this is, again, why it's never too early to start the process. So if you say, okay, I want to list my home by this date, you're not feeling like, I've got to empty or declutter or stage my whole house in a week. You're giving yourself that time.
Mm-hmm. And we even, what we've done, which is this isn't the best time to do it, we most of the time have this conversation in September, is maybe right now is a really great time for any reason for a specific area of your house. Maybe you have a beautiful view that gets privacy in the summer, but you can see that beautiful view in the winter. Maybe we want to capture that. That's why we say it's never too early to start, because we might say we want to bring our professional photographer quick to capture these few rooms or to capture this view, and then we'll bring them back when we're ready to list. So we start thinking about all of those things right away.
Yep. And this time of year, a lot of people are throwing things out, cleaning, maybe they have that as their New Year's resolution. And if that's the case, we could always come and photograph just the inside of the house, and maybe wait until we have green grass and blue sky in the spring if you're thinking you're a little bit further down into 2021. So we really are flexible, but our goal is to capture the house in the best light possible. And if that's 2 photography trips or whatever it might be, we want to make sure that we're making that happen. So that's always a great opportunity. And you want to know a fun fact?
Always.
This is not going to surprise anyone, but 93% of buyers use some type of online tool to find their home in 2020.
And of course that makes sense.
Yep.
Of course. Because it's so key, and especially in 2020 was when there was a lot of people sitting at home
Yes.
and they were scrolling and they were searching and they were looking at their house and saying, is this the house that I want to be quarantined in? And truthfully, there was a lot of searching going on. So if we are not highlighting your home and making that really dramatic impression through our photos, we're missing the boat.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so that was number 6. Number 7.
Number 7, guys, we're finally to the fun part. You list your house. So often people think that our job as a realtor is to just list your house and move on. As you can see, all of this stuff beforehand, we feel is what's going to set you up for success once we do list that house.
Yep.
So listing the house is the final step. And that's really where we're not just saying, okay, let me get it into the computer, but we're going to start to talk about what's best for you for showings. Now, I'm a mom. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. I understand when there is a mother who is saying, don't screw with nap time. You can touch anything but my nap time. And we can start to say, okay, how can we block off these showings for you to make sure that no one is going to be scheduling between here and here, or take care of your nights. And I know this time of year, it's even where sometimes we'll do delayed negotiations, and we know you might get a lot of showings. And with the way that we want to handle it, we'll try to space out the showings and make it as safe as possible. But truthfully, there might be showings all weekend.
Yep.
And that's where we say, okay, how can we make this best for your family? And you're like, I'm going to go stay with the in-laws, or I'm going to go stay somewhere. So we start to talk about what it actually means in the process of listing your house to make sure that this something that could be a little bit stressful is as simple as possible, because we're able to meet your needs in all of the smallest ways.
Yep, exactly. And so we use a really great system that will track all of that for you throughout the showings. We're also going to really create the game plan in regards to showings, but also are we doing open houses? Are we doing virtual open houses? Are we doing delayed negotiations? Our last episode, correct, was delayed negotiations. So you can tune into that one if you're like, well, what in the world are they talking about? Basically, it's what the word says for the most part. It is negotiations that we delay until a certain day or time. But there is way more info in our previous episode to really educate you on the delayed negotiation situation. But that's not right for everyone. It's not right for every house. Open houses are not right for every house, virtual, vice versa. So we're going to go through that to really create a specific marketing plan and then implement that as your house is listed.
So that's what we got for you.
That's it. Those are all the steps. Easy peasy, right?
Easy peasy. Now, we have a free downloadable. Make sure you go grab that so that you can see this for yourself. You can send it off to someone else, or however you can have this to find value, because the key is, if a new home seller edition is selling your home is on your radar for 2021, it is now is a great time to open up the conversation with us. We can walk you through each one of these steps, help answer the question, and kind of help discover what's going to be best for you. Oftentimes people are like, I don't know, will you guide me? And that's what we pride ourselves on, is you're not going to necessarily have the answer, but we can ask the right questions to start help you discover what that answer is, because we want you to know we do this day in and day out. We helped over 200 families last year, so we know what we're doing, we know the market, and we also know the needs that you guys have that we want to make sure we're supporting. So we love what we do. We'd love the opportunity to help you, and if you have any other questions on selling your home, let us know. But make sure, if you want to buy your house, buy a home in 2021, you know that we have something coming down the line for you too.
Yes, for sure. And I will say, after we meet, with our sellers and have this initial conversation, everyone always says like, I just feel so much better now that we have that game plan. And even if your game plan is the end of 2021, 2022, no matter what, we can at least just start to get the ball rolling, so you're not feeling overwhelmed once you're ready to go, and can really take a deep breath knowing that we have a game plan and we've got your back.
Doesn't that feel so good?
It does.
We want you to feel that good. Well, thank you for tuning in to Friday with Friends. Again, Friday with Friends is our opportunity to talk about what's going on in the market, answer any questions you might have, so that if you have any real estate needs, we would love the opportunity to be your realtors of choice.
Yes.
All right, well, have a great day. Make sure you tune in to our next episode, and as always, reach out with any questions.
Bye.